Hello, this is session 3 of our playthrough of Chariot of the Gods, my hack for the Alien role-playing game. I'm Jason, and we're playing this through the Gauntlet online gaming community. If you're interested, you like what you see, check us out at gauntlet-rpg.com. We are using safety tools. We're assuming best intentions in each other's actions. We are using the open door policy. We're using the X card and lines and veils. And our lines and veils, to remind everyone, are we have a lines on sexual abuse, animal abuse, violence towards children, and we have veils on torture for information and consensual sex. We're going to go around and have everybody introduce themselves and their characters with their pronouns. Just tell us briefly your character's job. To remind yourself, mention their talent, their signature item, their buddy and their rival, if they have one, and their current stress level. So let's start with Miller, our captain. Richard, what do you got?
All right, I am playing Captain Miller, the recently. Recently, I'm not really a captain anymore, I guess. Miller goes by she, her pronouns. So I'm Richard, he, him pronouns. And my talent is pulling rank. So I can kind of browbeat someone into doing what I tell them to do. And that's about it. Oh, wait. Sorry. My rival is Wilson, the corporate man, and my buddy is Davis, the pilot.
And do you have any stress right now, Miller?
I have 2 stress.
Okay. Let's go on to the pilot, Davis. Stephen?
It's actually me, Leandro.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Leandro.
No worries. I'm playing the pilot, Davis, who is a bit of an adrenaline junkie who doesn't like monotony that much, although she's not getting much monotony in this trip for sure. She's a talent for being reckless in that she can push any skill roll on agility twice because she's just jittery and just wants to be on the move all the time. And her signature item is a pill bottle. It's almost empty. She hasn't found the time to calm down and take her dose. In fact, I think she has a what would you call it? Oh, she has another trait that means that she kind of needs to take a stimulant, otherwise she gets more stressed out. So that probably needs to happen at some point. Although, who knows? We're in some derelict ship. There might be time to do it. Maybe not. Buddies with Miller. And my stress at 2, which is surprisingly decent. Yeah, just about.
And now let's go to Wilson. Stephen?
Hi, my name is Stephen, and I use the he, him pronouns. And I'm playing Wilson, the company agent, who also uses he, him pronouns. Wilson has no buddies, but is a rival of Miller. Wilson has no stress. And Wilson's talent is personal safety. The company is most important no matter what, and I represent the company, so my safety is paramount. If I'm attacked or otherwise put in fatal danger, and another PC or friendly NPC is within short range, I can make a manipulation roll. If I succeed, it goes towards the NPC instead of me or the PC.
All right, and then Jamie with Cham, finish us up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jamie. They, them pronouns, please. I'm playing Cham, who is, not having a great time. But Cham is the roughneck. Cham is really good at being strong and handling heavy machinery. And Their talent is true grit, which means that they can always push a second time any skill roll that's based on strength and just take stress from that. And speaking of stress, Cham is doing okay, considering Cham no longer has a buddy and has no rival. Cham is currently at 1 stress.
Okay. Quick recap. So you guys are space truckers that have served on the ship Montero for about 6 months, and you were delivering a load of helium-3 to a frontier colony. And your mother, the computer on your ship, woke you up in deep space because it detected a mysterious SOS signal. You were directed to find the signal, which you did, and discovered that it was a science vessel called the Cronus. Mother communicated that your priorities are to recover scientific data and samples from the Cronus, escort the salvaged Cronus to Anchorhead or another Weyland-Yutani facility, and save any crew members on the Cronus. The Cronus was dark, seemed to be powered down. You discovered that it had suffered some damage, some dents, and the hull had been pierced in the aft section. Ray, or our old shipmate Rye, volunteered to do a spacewalk and jump over there. Did some repairs in the reactor control room, which allows power to flow into the ship, and was about to leave and was attacked by an alien creature, which, after some hijinks, managed to grab Rye and carry her away. And it's worth noting, you all saw this creature either face to face or through cameras, except for Cham. Cham never actually did see it. During the hijinks, Davis crashed the ship crashed the Montero into the Cronus, and afterwards you saw that there was coolant leaking from a tank in the Cronus. Cham recognized that the damage wasn't too bad. You have at least days until there's going to be a thermonuclear explosion when the Cronus's reactor overheats and explodes. Shortly after the collision and Rye being taken, Mother summoned Wilson into her chamber, and shortly thereafter, the alarms went off and the reactor on the Montero overloaded. Wilson's the only one that knows that Mother is the culprit. The computer set the self-destruct. You guys all geared up, put on your spacesuits. Cham hooked up the umbilical. You guys all moved into the Cronus, and you had all your stress is kind of low because you did have a little bit of time to kind of chill in the airlock as the pressure normalized. Each of you lost a little bit of the air on your spacesuits, so keep in mind you have a bit of a timer on. Your spacesuit will run out of air. You have a heads-up display on your suit that tells you that it's extremely cold in here. Like, you will freeze to death in minutes. There is air in here, but it's very stale. It has very low levels of oxygen. You will suffocate eventually also. It is completely dark. There's a few emergency lights along in the hallways, but otherwise it's completely dark. You do have lights are kind of on your shoulders and on the top of your helmet of your spacesuit. So at least in the area where you'll be, there will be enough light to move around, but otherwise you can't see very far. And everyone, we have moved into Act 2, and everyone has earned a story point. Ask me a question if you don't remember how that works. But you have those available. Everybody has their signature item they can interact with if they need to calm down, and everyone has their buddy/rival power that they can draw from. So that's where we left off. we begin today with the camera on the exterior of the ship, and we see the umbilical. We see the Cronus detach from the umbilical, not the Cronus, the Montero detached from the Cronus, and Davis had set a auto. He had set the autopilot to fly the Montero far away from the Cronus, so that when it explodes, it won't destroy your ship. So we see the Montero, using its maneuvering thrusters to move away, and then the large thrusters at the back light up, and the ship starts to move away fairly quickly, and then it's almost like a dot, and it explodes. And it's this, if you saw the end of the movie Alien, which I think is everyone except for Leandro, but then there's all these lights, and there's a pressure wave that hits the ship, and the camera goes inside, and we see Miller, who's down on B deck. You should all have that in your screen on roll 20. We pick up with Miller on B deck, rocking, as the pressure wave hits the ship, and you're kind of half falling, and you're going into the med lab. Is that right, Miller? The med lab
Yes.
is a smallish room. It's about 6 meters across. It's pristine. It's clean, as you would expect of a medical facility. There are a few gurneys. Gurney's not the word I want, but a few beds, for patients. Nobody's on it though. There's no sign of any life in here. There's no life of any struggle or anything, or signs of any struggle or anything in here. There are 2 large cabinets along the opposite wall from where you came in, so back against this wall. There are 2 large cabinets. One has a glass door, and you can see inside that it's got racks and containers full of medical supplies. And the other cabinet is a solid structure. It's got a very thick door, and it's a medical freezer. You can tell it's off, but it's so super cold in here that it's probably whatever it was freezing is still probably frozen inside. But it's a large medical freezer, and it's solid. You can't see inside of that. There also is, off to the side, there's this cart, which they have these. They were in the first movie in Alien, but they're these like semi-motorized carts that you kind of push, but they have a little bit of a motor that kind of allows you to push large, weighty things. And then off to the south, or towards the aft, there's a door there, and that leads back into sort of a quarantine area where there's the med pods. And the med pods, they are automated doctors. Basically, you put the person on this bed, and it kind of swivels them into the machine, and the machine is capable of diagnosing, providing medicine, doing surgery. It's a very complicated piece of equipment, very, very expensive. What would you like to do?
Well, I have a few priorities. One is I want to sort out what the supply of stimulants is here, considering I left the only dose I had back on the ship.
Sure.
So I want to look for that, and then maybe other things as the opportunities arise.
Okay. So you want to check out the supply cabinet first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The supply cabinet has 4 personal med kits. A med kit gives you a bonus if you're trying to heal somebody. They're a one-use item. There's a surgical kit that allows you to give a bonus if you're trying to save someone from dying. And there are several doses of 3 different medications that are significant. They are Never Sleep, which is a stimulant, helps people stay awake. Hydration, which is it's a as the name suggests, it hydrates you. You take it before you go into hypersleep, and it helps to keep the hypersleep sickness to a minimum. And then the last one is called Nap Relieve. Nap Relieve is an extremely expensive medicine. It is a wonderful painkiller. It takes away your pain, and in game terms, it takes away any stress you have. And what I want you to do, we want to find out how many doses of each of these there are. So I want you to roll 3d6, one after the other.
Okay. And is that going to be a stressed roll or?
No. So what you can
No?
do is if you go to your character sheet, just go to base dice. And if you put in,
Okay.
it'll click up and say how many base dice, just put in 3. And it should kick out your 3. Oh, actually, that probably won't work because, no, push 3d6. Push 3d6.
Okay.
Oh, combine them all. So, okay, so do it one at a time. Push 1d6.
Okay. All right.
I didn't know that.
If you hover, sorry.
If you hover it over it, can you do it
Yeah,
different?
it'll show you the breakdown of what each dice was.
Oh, well.
Oh, I see.
There's a 3-3
That's
and a
fine.
2.
We'll go with the 3-3-2. All right, so there are 3 doses of Never Sleep, 3 doses of hydration, and 2 doses of Nap Relieve. If you want to pocket any of the med kits or surgical kits or the pills, go ahead and add that to your character sheet.
Okay. I'm going to and how much bulk are those creating?
The 4 med kits combined would weigh 1. The surgical kit, I think it weighs a half. Let me check. Yes. The surgical kit weighs 0.5. Each medical kit weighs 0.25. And the pills are negligible. They're 0 weight.
Okay. So, hang on. Okay, so I'm taking 3 of the 4 med kits. Leaving 1 here. So that would be 3/4 of a weight.
That's right. 0.75.
Okay, and then I am taking the surgical kit. And that was 1, was it?
Half.
Oh,
0.5.
Good thing I'm burly.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was it then? It was the meds.
Yeah, I added their names to the chat in Roll20. So there was 3 doses of the first one, Never Sleep, which is a stimulant. Okay. Davis would love that. 2 doses of hydration and 2 doses of Nap Relieve.
Okay. And those are negligible in weight.
That's right.
Okay. So I'm taking all the stimulants and all the Nap Relieve and leaving 1 hydration behind.
Okay.
And if you want to move on to cut over to the other.
No, it's all right.
People. Okay.
I'm going to stick with you for a minute, and then we'll jump to them.
All right.
Dum.
Okay, so there we go.
Okay. So, and then there's like bandages and towels and that kind of stuff. Nothing really significant right now, but that's all in there. You pretty much have rifled it, though. You got all the good stuff. What would you like to do next?
I want to check the med pods to see if they've been used, if there's a log or anything like that, see what they've been used for.
Okay, so you go over and you put for doors. These are for standard doors in the ship. You just push a button and they work. There's enough. The automated system, the emergency power, allows you to open doors. So you push a button, it slides open. I think in these ships it slides up, and there's sort of a kind of a quarantine area. So you go in and then you shut that door and you open the next door, and you move into the med pod area. There's 2 med pods here. These are really high-tech versions. You had some of these on the Montero, but you had the real rickety, rundown ones. The Z-list sort of med pods. These are the top of the line, and there's no clear evidence that they've been used recently. There is a terminal there, but it's powered down. It says standby. It just says standby on the screen. It doesn't respond if you try to type in or anything.
Okay.
You guys would all pretty much know, knowing the way ships work, that what that tells you is that this system could be on, but you need to turn it on from the bridge. The bridge is where you need to kind of initiate the medical bay systems. Okay. So that's what you get from there.
Okay. All right, then let's see. I guess I guess I have to deal with the ominous fridge. So I am going to with gun at the ready open up the refrigerator.
Okay. So you open it up. You have a pistol, right? Or did you take a bolt gun? I forget.
I have the bolt gun.
Okay, so you got this bolt gun. It's pretty big. You know, it's halfway between a pistol and a rifle. So you don't have to use it with two hands, but you kind of open it and you got it in your hand. It shoots this, like, it's probably pretty long, this solid steel hardened, steel spike basically. And you open it up, and there are some like medical sample type stuff in there. And then at the bottom, there's a large area that it's pretty deep. It goes back pretty far. And there's these two boxes, these hard plastic. They're kind of like some sort of real heavy duty plastic. And they have a solid top on, they're covered. And they're about a meter high, so about, what's that, 3 feet or so, and they're about maybe half a meter wide and half a meter deep. So there's two of these boxes. They're all frosted over, and they're sitting there in this freezer. They don't have any labels or anything on them.
What kind of seal are we looking at on them?
It looks like you would just push a button and it should pop open. You'd have to pull it out, though, to be able to have room to pop it open.
Like pull it out of the entire refrigerator? Or
yeah, you'd have to like slide it out into the main floor area of the med bay and then pop it open. There's not room to open it inside the freezer. You know what I mean? Like there's stuff above it.
Yeah. Okay, I am going to remove one of the boxes.
Okay.
And take a look in that.
Okay, so you push this button, and it kind of creaks, and you kind of have to grab it and pull it open a little bit because it's frosted over. But you crack the ice, and it pops open, and it has, for cinematic effect, there's probably like a mist of icy mist, that's swirling, and you kind of see inside. And what there is there's this. I got a picture of this for you. Let me find it. So if you go to, you got it, stats and mechanics. It's this biological looking egg-shaped object, and it's got sort of these 4 petals, I guess you'd call them, that meet at the top, and it seems to close off the interior, and it's all frosted over. What I want you to do for me, I want you to roll 1 stress die. So go to your character sheet, click under stress die, and you want to do just one of them. Okay. Nothing happens.
Okay.
You do, I want you to, you don't even make an observation check for this. You hear a loud rumbling in the vents nearby. If you look at the map, back this way. And it's approaching fairly rapidly. in your direction. And you look over, and kind of like in between the two cabinets, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little tiny dot there which shows where
Yeah, I see it. Like
you
that's
look up and you see there's a vent opening leading into here, and you can see that the cover is gone, so it's wide open. We'll cut from there to the other three guys.
okay.
Oh my god. Sorry.
Perfect.
You guys
Okay.
are up on A deck, so we'll jump you over there. And the three of you were going up this junction, so it's this enclosed this area which can be enclosed off if there's an emergency. You go up this ladder, which allows you to go from B deck up to A deck, and you've reached the landing, the top of it. Really, you're at the top of the ship, and there's a door in front of you. It's a regular door. You just have to push the button to open it, and that leads into what's called the examination room. And Cham, I remember you said you were going to lead the way, but just to kind of establish kind of a rough marching order, you're going to lead the way. Who's going to be in the rear of the three of you as you march around? Davis or Wilson?
Wilson's going to be in the middle.
See, the thing is, Davis doesn't want to be at the rear, so I think what we're establishing is two people who want to not be in the rear, but Davis is going to be in the rear.
Okay, so I'll assume that you're kind of not jostling, but sort of silently trying to one up each other to try to get in the middle.
Yeah. Davis' foot is tapping really hard, and it's actually concerning because it's making quite a bit of noise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Cham actually had a radar.
I do.
Like a motion tracker.
Yeah, it's active
That's right.
now.
And you right, Cham had tried motion, and it's still in his hand. I'll assume, unless otherwise, that it's running, and there's still no signs of any movement. So you come up to this door. I'll assume you push the button and you move into the examination room. And this is a smallish room. There's a table or a bed here for examination. This room is the purpose of this room is when people get out of cryo sleep, they would come in here, get checked out, drink some water, have something to eat. You see, there's a cabinet with some like freeze-dried food and bottles of water, which was unfortunately frozen though, off to the side. And there also is a kind of like an emergency panel in the wall, and you can see it on your map. That little it's a medkit signal, medkit symbol. So similarly to what Miller found, this is a medkit which it's a one-use item. If somebody needs to be healed, it gives you a bonus. If any of you want to grab it, go ahead and add it to your medkit.
I think Davis saw the med kit symbol and they kind of went there straight to see if there was anything there.
Sure. There actually is adrenaline in there. I don't know if that qualifies necessarily as a stimulant for your purposes, but there is a shot of adrenaline in there in an emergency kit. You still do have a couple of your pills, so you don't necessarily have to start taking random stimulants you come across as you walk around, but that is available. So if you want to take that, go ahead and add it to your sheet. Med kit.
I'll take it.
Now, there are doors flanking which lead into the wardrobe and the shower area. And those doors are regular doors. You just push a button to open them. But the door in front of you leading into Cryo 3, this is a heavy blast door has dropped to restrict entry into this area. And, against the wall, it says Cryo 3, executive and command staff. And you can see visibly on this heavy blast door, there are scratch marks along the edges. They're off to the side, the control panel to open it, it blinks red, which means that this is locked down. You can open it, but it's going to require either a ComTech roll to kind of hack it, or a heavy machinery roll to kind of work the machinery to release the hydraulic lock.
So this isn't a authorization level thing that needs to be done.
No.
Okay.
Maybe if the main computer was on, maybe it would work to just swipe your card, but no, it doesn't look like that will work here.
Does everyone want to like pull on it, see if it moves?
Yeah, can I just like smash, strength, pull?
Oh, Davis was being sarcastic, but okay.
Cham, you're pretty strong, but you're not strong enough to overcome, this heavy door. However, you have done enough work on these kinds of doors that you know that if you can open up a panel, you probably can reach in there and potentially release some of the hydraulic pressure that it uses to keep it closed, at least temporarily. So that would kind of, if you want to make a roll, that's kind of how that would play out.
Ooh,
That's a
okay.
heavy machinery roll, which I know you're pretty good at, actually.
Yeah. I think I'll try that then for sure. Because even though Davis is just joking, Cham is just gonna like try to do their best.
And if anybody wants to help, you guys can describe how you help and then give her an extra die, or give them an extra die. If you can imagine, you can picture a way to help.
So sure, I think that Wilson says, I don't think any of you have any idea how big the bonus will be whenever we get back. I'm just saying.
The greed.
Yeah, it's really important that we get up to the bridge and turn on the air and get to Mother so we can get control of the ship. Because have you seen the equipment on this ship? It's worth so much to the corporation.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. So give yourself a die for that.
Absolutely. And Cham's going to be thinking about Rye's family. So, yeah, for sure. Okay, so submitting 1. Okay. Wow. That was like okay, anyway, I got 1 success. Fine. I'm not going to complain.
That's all you needed. So you do indeed. You get in there and you kind of loosen this pipe, which releases a lot of the pressure. It makes a ton of noise, though. This air comes flying out, squealing, and the door, does rise, slowly. It stops about halfway, but you can duck and go under. You check your motion sensor to see if that noise is drawing any attention. You don't see any signs of anything, though.
Okay. All right. I quickly ask everybody to go through first. I want to make sure. Oh, no, wait. I'm going to go first just to make sure there isn't something there. And then I'm going to let everybody else. I mean, I know there's a motion tracker, but Cham's just being overprotective.
Okay, you guys go into Cryo 3. And still no signals on your motion tracker. And this is another pristine room, and it has another massive blast door opposite, which leads on to where Cryo 1 and Cryo 2 are. And this one, though, you can open from inside automatically if you need to go out that way, so you won't need to make another roll. And this room is dominated by, similar to how it was in your ship, sort of a from above, it would look kind of like a flower. So there's 6 petals of these cryo beds coming out from a central power core in the middle. And in each of these beds is a person. Well, 5 of the 6 beds, there's a person. The glass is frosted over with condensation, so you can't see who's in there or get many details, but you can see you're all familiar enough with cryo beds, you can see there's a green light and a readout next to each of these beds, which show that there's a live person inside. And if you go over and if you want to push aside the frost or whatever, you can see them, and you can see the readout as to who they are and what their life signs are if you want. Otherwise, in this room, there is pretty much nothing.
So, Cham, how about you close that door?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. You can just kind of like physically bring it down. Okay. It's not locked anymore. Someone or something could come along and do what you just did, but yeah, it's closed for now.
Someone or something. But yeah, I'm actually gonna check on the names. Yeah, I'll inspect a little bit just
Okay.
to see. So there are 5 of them, right?
That's right. There are 6 beds, but one of them's empty. The 5 people are listed as Clayton, Reed, Johns, Cooper, and Flynn. Those are the 5 people.
What kind of specialties do they have? Can you read
It
that?
doesn't list anything. It doesn't say anything about their job or anything here. It just has their name and their life signs.
How about the one that's empty? Like, is their name still there, or did that information disappear when they got
No,
out?
there.
Okay.
It's blank. There's.
Okay. Because they're no longer there. Ooh. Does it look
It,
like?
it looks. It doesn't look. It doesn't. It looks like a regular empty bed. There's no signs of breakage or damage or anything. It just looks
Okay.
like an empty bed.
Is there any way we can tell when the person left? Like if it happened recently?
No, there's no
Okay.
logs as to when it was entered, exited, anything like that. That would be
Right.
abnormal. Again, that would be something maybe you could get to on the bridge.
Right, but not in the area.
Not here, no.
Okay. Yeah, I turn to. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna turn to Wilson and say, I'll go and check stuff for a bit, unless you want to, Wilson.
No, I think we should move on. So let's open this following door. Yeah.
Okay.
We could also check out the lockers really quick, like if there's more stuff to be had here.
Are the lockers around this area, or are they back in the showers and wardrobe area?
Oh yeah.
They would be back in the showers and wardrobe area.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it's most important that we get the air back on, so that because
Sure.
our suits are going to run out soon.
Yeah. Okay, let's move ahead.
Yeah, and just a reminder for everyone, your plan was to go through here, go check out the air scrubber shaft, and then make your way to the bridge.
Yeah.
Okay. You move on then. Like I said, this other big door, you push a button, it opens up. You move through, it closes automatically, but coming back, you'll be able to, now that you've gone through there, you sort of unlocked it. So you can go back through there if you need to. You move up into this hallway where Cryo 1 and Cryo 2 are. And you see that they just say Cryo 1, Cryo 2. And you see that the doors leading into these are not the heavy doors. These are standard doors. And these doors have been busted down. Something strong has just pounded these doors. They're just a misshapen mess inside on the floor in each of these cryo chambers. Similarly to Cryo 3, there's a 6 flower petal beds, in the middle of these cryo rooms. And these beds all are blinking red, which is like catastrophically bad news. And it looks as though it's very clear. You don't even need to go in there. You can see that the glass has either been broken or the covers have been ripped off. And there's no signs of any people in any of these beds. And there's no sign of blood or gore or anything either, but that's what you see there. You also see, because you have kind of a straight shot as you look into each of these rooms, you can see that there's a fairly sizable vent, which leads into the maintenance and air shafts. And that's like right here for Cryo 2 and right here for Cryo 1. They've been busted down, and there's sizable vents that you could crawl up into if you wanted to.
I have a question before we move too much further on.
Sure.
What would it take to wake up the people in Cryo 3? Would we have to make it to the bridge, or was there just a button we could hit to wake them up?
You usually could go ahead and wake them up right there, but because the air is so cold and the air is so stale, the computer wouldn't let you.
Okay.
You could override it, but again, you'd have to do that through a roll up on the bridge,
And they'd probably die.
and they probably would die.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because we have our suits on and everything. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so like the doors are like misshapen towards us, or like
Knocked into the cryo rooms. Something from outside pounded its way in there, it looks like. And this other door that kind of leads into this whole cryo area, that's a regular door too, and that one's all busted up also.
But they didn't try to get into Cryo 3.
There were scratch marks on the big
Okay.
blast doors, remember?
Oh, that's right. Oh shit. Yeah.
And now that you see, I'll tell you this much: now that you see these vents, you do kind of remember that, like in your periphery when you were in Cryo 3, there are like vents that go into there too, but they're really small. They were not busted out. They're very small vents, or at least the access is small.
Okay, so I'm going to I think that's enough to like turn to everybody and say, whatever is on this ship, it can move through the vents in ways we can't keep track of. Is there anything we can do about these vents?
Well, Cham, I'm really glad we have you along. I think that, you were smart enough to grab the motion tracker, and I think the motion tracker will make sure that we can tell before something comes along.
Yeah, the motion tracker should pick up movement in the vents too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. We have radios inside these suits, right? We have.
That's
to.
right.
I think I'm going to radio Miller and let Miller know, that we've seen, doors ripped off, but we've found a group of 5 survivors, and getting them home is imperative.
So the camera will flash to where Miller is, and we hear the sounds in the vents that were approaching Miller's med lab area. They're receding. They're going away, zipping back to B deck. They are going away back this way, towards the front of the ship. So we hear that rustling, banging, kind of receding, and then you get this message from Wilson.
Well, I think I heard whatever it is you're talking about, and I think it's headed your way.
What do you mean?
I heard something moving around in these vents. I thought it was headed my way, and then it kind of changed course a second ago.
Why? What? I'm looking at the motion tracker. My eyes are not going to leave it for a while. I'm just,
Still don't see anything. Nope.
Okay. Wilson, I think we have to move.
Yeah, let's keep moving.
But let's try to. I look at Davis. Let's try to keep it quiet, but quick. So
she mouths. Yeah, she mouths. Okay.
Right,
and it is already like pacing. I think she's trying to be first.
Okay, so we just need to move, and then we have to go towards the right or left to access the air scrubbers. Okay.
Let me ask Miller, where's the captain going as these guys continue on?
Well, I've been trying to decide whether to do something stupid or not. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reseal the pod in the box.
Okay.
I'm going to push it back into the freezer.
Okay.
And I'm going to take some, I'm going to kind of hide it. I'm going to hide both boxes, kind of, do what I can to conceal them so that they're not immediately obvious to someone else who looks in there.
Okay. Probably the best you could do is maybe put some towels over them or something to kind of obscure it. Okay.
You know, kind of stack a couple things on top to make it look like, you know, less convenient to get to.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, and then I'm gonna kind of back out, keeping my eye on that vent. I assume was also forced open,
That's right.
right? Inward, not outward.
It was pushed into the room from inside the vent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the vent cover anywhere?
Kind of, yeah, it's like lying on the ground now that you look.
And I assume it's warped and won't.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Hmm. I am going to back out of the med bay.
Okay. Where are you going to go to?
Well, first I'm going to head into the hang on, let me look at B deck.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna back into the corridor and head back toward the science section.
Okay. Are you going to make your way into Science Lab 2, which is the big one right here, or this little one, Science Lab 1?
I'm gonna start with Science Lab 1.
Okay. All right. We're gonna leave you there then. We're going to go back upstairs as you make your way over to. Let me ask you one other thing too, though. Are you moving quickly or are you moving quietly?
I am moving quietly.
Okay. Let's go back to B deck now. Let me drag it over. Same question to you guys. As you leave the cryo area, are you going quietly or quickly as you make your way to the scrubbers?
The fact
can't
we
do
have
both.
to choose. Yeah.
No.
The fact we have to choose. Okay, quiet. I'm thinking about what Miller said.
I got you on the wrong map. Sorry. You're going quietly? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you, it's probably not super important, but did you want to go up the right passageway or the left passageway, making your way to the air scrubbers?
So just to be clear, on the left and the right, at the far ends, it looks like there's elevators. Is
That's
that
right. Yep.
And then on the left, it looks like there's a terminal and something else.
That's an intercom.
Okay.
So you push the button and it'll send a message to, you can kind of select what part of the ship you want to call.
I see. But there isn't a, and what's the terminal like? Is it just, your normal?
Same, it says standby. It's like a small little terminal. You could probably call up some information if you needed to. You couldn't fly the ship or anything from there, but you could get information. But right now it just says standby.
Yeah, in terms of going right or left, I look towards Wilson.
We should obviously go left.
Obviously.
Okay. Sure. All right, so you move into there. So you move up this passageway, and this is the only way to get into these, to check these air scrubber shafts. Cham, you're familiar with these things, and what you got to do is you have to remove the cover leading into the vent. You have to crawl up into this vent. You have to kind of get on all fours and kind of crawl into this vent. It's only a few meters, and then you'll get to sort of a crossroads, I guess, an event. And there should be an access port, which will allow you to get into to check out the air scrubber shaft. Okay. So the question is, who wants to crawl into the vent first and go check this out? Or do you all want to go, or how do you want to do this?
I'll go. I will leave the tracker with Davis. Yeah.
I think I'll take the tracker, but then I say, like, Wilson, give him your pistol. Can't really fire a bolt gun in that vent, can you?
Oh,
I think she has a flamethrower.
Yeah, I do have a
flamethrower.
You
Yeah.
can. You have to kind of like lay. It would be awkward, but you could.
Yeah, I'm a big boy.
So yeah, I think that Wilson will turn around and take the pistol. He'll put the safety on and hand it to you hilt first,
Okay.
and then see about getting some of the equipment that you have, the heavier stuff. And I think he actually takes it and kind of and then kind of sets it off to the side so it's kind of leaning up against the wall a little bit.
Yeah.
Tail is
I'll
backed
turn to
away from Ronan.
everybody and I'll say, if you hear anything, if anything goes south, just go in the opposite direction. Don't come back for me. Okay?
No, you're important. We'll make sure you're okay.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see. And
Okay.
so I'm gonna go in. Jammy's freaked out. Cham's very brave, but Jammy is freaking out.
Okay. So you climb up, and you start crawling in this shaft. It's not very far. As you can see, it's only a couple meters till you get to sort of the crossroads. And to your left, there's a access port or a grate that you can kind of remove if you needed to, and that would lead you into the stairwell. But what you want to do is you want to remove the one to the right. But the one to the right is gone. It's on the ground in front of you. So it's open. It's pretty big. The access is pretty big. It's certainly big enough for a person or even two people to probably kind of look in there if they needed to. And what you see is, so the air scrubber, it's about 5-6 meters across, and it's this deep shaft that goes down 3 decks. So it's your light that can't even see the bottom.
All the way, yeah.
It's 20-30 meters down probably. And how these work is there are these electrical conduits along the walls lining this shaft, and they draw in the air, and these filters scrub away the carbon in the air, and it filters water through this machinery, and it electrolyzes the water, and that breaks the oxygen away from the hydrogen. So it gives you fresh air. It cleans the air and it gives you fresh air. If it were running, you wouldn't die if you went in there, but it is dangerous because there's a lot of electricity in this place, but it's off right now. So there's these, there's, like I said, there's these electrical conduits all along these walls going all the way down. And you see something strange though. These conduits have this sort of webbing, kind of interlaced all along the walls, and where it's thick, it's kind of coalesced into sort of like a black, shiny chitinous sort of material that's kind of lining this wall. And where you're at, it's not too thick. But as you look down the 15-20 meters your light allows you to see, you can see it gets thicker and thicker as it goes farther down into the ship. So as a experienced roughneck that if this is going to work, you're going to need to either replace these filters. Okay, you'd have to reach in and pull out all these filters and put in new filters. Or you're going to have to remove, or you're going to have to clean these filters, either by actually physically going in and like pulling them out and shaking them and replacing them, a very time-consuming task.
Yeah.
Or these things are used to having extremely high heat from all the electricity running through them. You think maybe, possibly, you could burn it away with your flamethrower.
Yeah.
So that's what you see.
Yeah, I think definitely I'm going to slowly, carefully make my way back. Because I'm trying to think how Cham would put this together, seeing all that webbing, knowing there's something in the vents. I'm going to come back slowly. I'm going to be really outwardly calm about it and say it seems something has made the air scrubbers, they're home. It looks like we have an infestation of some kind. But I think if we get at it with the flamethrower, we should be able to get things working quickly enough. Any other option I can think of is just going to take too much time. I don't think we have that.
Is this over the comms channel?
Yeah, I think I'm going to include Miller on the
Yeah,
loop so
okay.
that Miller knows what's up and what's ahead of us.
All right, Cham, I trust your judgment on this. You're the boots on the ground up there. So I just want you to play it really careful. Stick to what you know. And and just keep a calm head. This vent shaft doesn't seem to be connected into the larger system. From the schematics that I'm looking at. So I think that that any threat's going to really be only coming from one possible direction. So good eye out, everyone else. And I'm going to try to kind of justify that as maybe an assistance role on her, whatever she does for this.
Okay. I think what we'll do, let's hold off on that. Maybe
Okay.
we'll just sort of put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Remind me when we get to the moment where you actually start to do something in there, and we'll play that out, how that plays out. And you're just talking to the whole team, so we'll kind of lay that down, and whoever it seems most applicable to give it to, right?
Right.
So okay. So
Cham,
Miller gives you a pep talk. Go ahead, sorry.
Cham, what would happen if you turned on if we just turned on the scrubbers and let the electricity burn this stuff off? Would that work?
Do we have enough to do that?
You know that with as much of this stuff on the conduits, it just wouldn't go. The computer would automatically short it out.
Yeah, it's too gunked up.
That's right.
Yeah. But I communicate that to Wilson, and I say, I think it's best if I go in there with the flamethrower, clean up as much as I can, give you the signal. But I think the two of you should keep moving towards where we need to go so that as soon as I'm done, you can start it up. I don't think we can afford to have you wait for me.
How long do you think it'll take you to clean it up?
Like a couple of stories, right? So I'm thinking like a few minutes at least. Like I think it's going to take me.
It'd probably take the climbing up and down, shooting off, being careful not to like hit anything too sensitive. It would probably take a good half hour.
Yeah.
I will tell you, you know yourself well enough that you know your shit when it comes to shooting things. That you're not terribly agile. You don't have any experience with guns. So you're not likely to totally mess up the air scrubbers, but you certainly, if you shot too much flame in any one spot for too long, you definitely could do some damage. So be aware that you may not be the best shot amongst the crew when it comes to using a flamethrower.
I got it. Yeah. Because I was thinking it was the strength, but it's really more the but that would mean endangering. Okay. Let me think. That's technically Davis, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Davis is like the shooter of the crew.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Okay.
Yeah. I think yeah.
I think that's gonna like the realization is gonna dawn on all of us. Like we're just looking at each other, and I'm gonna be pointedly looking and not looking at Davis, and I'm gonna be like, look, I wouldn't ask you this if I didn't think we really needed it. I realize if I do this on my own, it could take too long. I need you to come in with me. I'll be there. I'll have your back. I'll protect you. I'm not going to let those things get to you.
Ah, God. I think Davis kind of just hears that and just like, whatever. Let's just get this done. Let's just do this. You, and she points at Wilson. You're going to have to do your thing, right? Going up front, right? Don't bother waiting for us. We need to get this thing moving. Sooner we clear whatever's in there, the better.
True, but I still need a pilot to pilot the ship. I don't think I can do it by myself.
You don't need a pilot to turn on the air scrubbers. It's
Yeah, I can do that.
I'm just saying, just like the sooner. And
Yeah. But Wilson, whatever you think is best. I just want to make sure we're being
Yeah, it
careful.
sounds like this is a two-man job in order to get this taken care of. Miller, what are you doing right now?
I am investigating the science lab right now, and yeah, there seem to be some traces of movement of whatever the hell that thing was around here. So I'm trying to keep it slow and cautious.
Do you want to meet me up towards the bridge, and we can try to make sure that the ship is made habitable while we track these things down?
Give me a second. Yeah, I can't quite extricate myself from where I'm at the moment. Give me a couple minutes, and I'll get back with you. If you want to start making your way up there, I can try and rendezvous with you ASAP.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think it's going to take, I think Cham said about half an hour to clear this out, so I think we have some time. And I'm just going to make my way on towards the bridge.
Okay. So we got Miller going into the science lab. Wilson's going to make his way to the bridge. You two guys are going to crawl up in there and start your cleanup operation. Let's take a moment and juggle some equipment to get that sorted. So Cham, I take it you're giving the flamethrower to Davis.
Yes.
And you still have Wilson's pistol?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh. I don't know if I want to leave. Wilson, do you have anything else to protect you with?
Don't you have a bolt gun?
Miller has that.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't want to leave you defenseless. I'll give you back the pistol.
Yeah, you will.
All right.
wow.
So, Cham, we're going to take. Are you going to keep the motion tracker?
Yes.
Okay.
Just, yeah.
All right. So since you guys can't see each other's character sheets, I'm just going to go ahead and just copy and paste the exterminator unit, the flamethrower, over to Davis.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Yep. Davis. Okay. I think it's a good time for us all to make a air supply check before we get into what happens next. So everybody click on the bottom left of your character sheet. It says air under consumables. If you just click air, it'll kick out the dice and show us what happens to your air supply. So Davis, you're good. You don't lose anything. Miller loses a point of air. Cham, you're good.
Okay.
And Wilson, you're good. So Miller just reduced it down to 3. So let's jump to Miller then. So Miller says, I'll make my way there in a moment. As you move into Science Lab 1, this is a quiet room. You see that there's a couple terminals. There's prototypical lab equipment kind of stuff laying around. No sign of any disturbance or anything. There's a terminal, and you can see that it has a data stick stuck into it. Okay, and you can try to draw what's on the data, even though the main computer is not on. You can use this terminal to draw what's on that data stick and check it out if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay. What comes up is a long page after page of real scientific gobbledygook that you're not terribly familiar with. If you want to try to decipher what this might be talking about, you can make an observation roll. But since you're not a scientist, though, you're going to have to make it at -2 dice.
I am going to instead remove the data stick and secure it on my person.
Okay. So just write data stick on your Science Lab data stick. Maybe that's probably will help us remember what that's about. And it has no weight. Wilson, you make your way. Let's take a look at the map real quick.
So I think in order to make my way there, I need to go up towards the front, right, where that junction is.
Here's the map. So yeah, keep going straight, and you're gonna go. Yeah, you have to get to either the stairwell or the junction, and then you need to go down a deck to get to the bridge. Let me tell you though that you might see at the top of a deck it says Mother.
Yeah,
that's Mother's chamber. And all the signs you've gotten so far is that Mother is off on this ship. So to turn on Mother, you'd have to go in there first, then go to the bridge.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of like the idea of making a stop there first. So I think I'm going to head all the way up to where Mother is. Go in there. My key card should get me in there.
Yep.
And see if I can find out what happened here. And then I can go down through the stairwell in the junction.
Okay. Let me drag you up that way. So you make your way quietly, I presume, right? Towards the Mother's chamber. You come around this corner here where right before you enter the sort of double doors that lead in the kind of quarantine double airlock or whatever leads into Mother. And you see on the ground a body. This is a body. One moment. You see on the ground the body of a tall man in a work jumpsuit of a space trucker. He is clearly dead. He has the back of his skull. He's laying face down in a pool, what would have been a pool, but is now frozen blood. And the back of his head has been crushed in. And lying beside him is a combat shotgun. And there's a few shells kind of fallen out of his pocket. So that it looks, there's a shotgun and then there's a few more shells laying on the ground. You can see on his shoulder, there's a patch that says Cronus and another patch that says Wayland Utani. And on the back of his work suit or his jumper, it has his name. You've seen this a lot. A lot of people wear, jumpsuits with their names on the back. It says Bolaji.
So I'll pick up the shotgun and the shells.
Okay.
But I think I'm too squeamish to actually reach into his pocket to see if there's more.
Okay. We'll say that you got them all. Oh, yeah. You do. One bad news. You do gain a point of stress seeing this dead body.
Oh, okay.
And go ahead and go to your character sheet. And you're going to add a combat shotgun. And you add it down in the weapons area. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Wilson. Where's Where's Wilson? Here he is.
That's ranged.
Yep. And it has a, let me look it up for you. It has a +2 bonus. So you just put a 2.
Okay.
It has 3 damage.
Okay.
It's short range. It has a weight of 1. And make a note that its armor is doubled. That means a shotgun does a ton of damage, but if your target has armor, it's doubled. It doesn't. It's not. They don't. Shotgun doesn't penetrate very well through armor.
So
But
where do you put weight in?
I would just put it down where you put armor is doubled. I just write
Okay.
weight 1.
Okay.
And adding up all your stuff. You got your pistol back, didn't you, too?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. You got it perfect. You got 2 tabs now, your pistol and your shotgun.
Yeah.
So your weight's now up to 2.5. And your maximum encumbrance, since you have a strength of 2, you double your strength. That gives you your maximum encumbrance. So your max is 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think I clumsily kind of, take the strap on the shotgun and put it over the back of my, because it's kind of clumsy, and I'm not great with that.
Okay.
And then I'll see if I can't, access Mother.
You can. You swipe your card, and it goes bleep bleep, and it says recognized, unknown Weyland-Yutani executive, access granted. The door slides open, and you go inside. And similarly to the Montero, that door shuts. You slide your card. You put in your little ID code. Same thing. Access granted. You go inside to Mother's chamber. This Mother's chamber is completely dark. It looks very, very similar to Montero's. They all kind of look the same. There's that one, I think actually I added a picture here showing what a Mother chamber looks like. Let me give you guys access to that. Yeah. Show the players, edit. So that's under info/art.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the one chair with a terminal, but it's totally dark in here. The only light, there's one green light sort of down, sort of towards the bottom, off to the side, and next to it, it prominently displays that this green light is flashing, and it prominently displays black box. So this is sort of the emergency black box for this ship. Is still lit up, that it's active, or it's still working.
So can I power this up?
You can. It'll take a little bit of time. You have to pull out a wire and attach it, and you have to kind of call up the information. It takes a little bit of time, especially since Mother's not on. But you certainly can do so. You also could just go ahead and turn on Mother also.
Yeah. So I think I'd like to turn on Mother.
Okay. You turn it on, and a bunch of light, or a bunch of numbers and emblems and symbols and stuff light up, and finally it has like a Weyland-Yutani logo. Mother 60. I think the Mother 6000 is what this one's called. And actually, let me back up because there's something else I missed. When you go to turn on Mother, there actually is something on the screen. It looks like the last interaction that somebody had with the automated system is still showing on the screen. And it says mainframe shutdown complete. Then the user typed in record audio to log. The computer responded with recording audio ... Then the user typed in end audio recording. The computer said log audio recording complete, black box updated. Then the user typed in initiate self-destruct. The computer said unable to comply, manual self-destruct required with mainframe deactivated. Okay.
So let me make sure I understand. It sounds like someone recorded some audio and stored it on the black box,
That's right.
and then tried to initiate the self-destruct, but that won't fly because Mother's shut down.
That's right. They had to do it manually.
And manually, is that in another part of the ship?
You'd have to ask Cham about that. You're not sure.
Okay. So, but it would take me about 30 minutes to get things off the black box. And how long would it take to turn on Mother?
It would take a turn, which is 5 to 10 minutes. Mother will just take a few minutes to turn on.
Yeah.
Getting at the black box will take a turn, which is 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh. And how long did you say Mother to turn on would be? Just about the same?
Probably like a 1980s computer. How long would that take to boot up a 1980s computer? You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, that took so long. I'm having flashbacks.
Sorry.
And so if I wanted to turn Mother back off, I could always do that, right?
You'd have to ask Rye about that. That's something you've never actually done before. People never. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, why would they have done it here? It's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah, people you don't generally ever turn it off. You don't know if it's just a matter of pushing a button or what. Yeah, you've never actually done it. I see you talking, but it doesn't say you're muted, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I've got a double mute.
Okay.
So I think what I'll do, so I've got 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm safe inside here of Mother. I'll wait. I'll give Cham a little bit of time to spray down the, fire. I'm going to work through the black box, see what's going on, because I certainly don't want to turn Mother on and blow up the ship or something like that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's put a pin in that, and we flash back now. We see Cham and Davis huffing through the, crawling through the vent up to the opening. And Davis, you see the same thing. You look down and you see this shaft going straight down. It does have like a little on each north, south, east, and west. There's a little ladder that you can kind of climb to go up and down. So the way this is going to work, assuming going with your plan to like try to burn off this stuff, is that from here, from the top, you can kind of reach over and you can kind of get the first level, the level you're at, and kind of see if you can melt it away. But then if that works, you're going to have to get on one of the ladders and kind of crawl down a level or climb down a level, and then kind of like put an arm around one of the rungs and kind of like spray around that next level. And it does have medium range, so you can spray one zone away. So I guess you're at A deck. From A deck, you can kind of get most of B deck. A and B deck cleaned off, but then you're gonna have to climb down and then spray B and C deck. You follow that?
Mm-hmm.
So kind of give me a sense of what's in your hands. I know what Davis is carrying, but Cham, do you have the pistol out? Is it in your waistband? What are you doing?
Oh no, I gave the. Didn't I
Oh, you gave it away. That's right.
Yeah,
right.
but I do have the tracker.
Motion tracker.
So
okay.
I have one eye on the tracker, one eye on Davis to make sure she's okay.
Sure. So, Davis, let me get to the right spot.
Is it easy for Davis to does she need help holding up the flame? I know she's a small girl.
Not incapable.
No.
Okay.
She's actually pretty talented.
Okay.
With
She just doesn't seem
Davis
like it.
Davis is actually, a thrill junkie. I can imagine her enjoying shooting weapons on her spare time, so to speak. She does have range combat too, which is pretty talented. And of course, she's really agile. So.
Yeah. I was just thinking in terms of the weight of it, but yeah.
Yeah. No, she can probably do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, okay. I think she insists that she'll do it herself. Honestly, like you can watch out, Cham, but like I think David's just gonna go for it.
Okay, absolutely.
He's gonna start with A deck and reach down to B.
Sure.
Okay, so the top level, you from the opening you spray out flame, whoosh, this big projected wave of flame goes flying out, and you carefully try to avoid. Cham kind of says, watch out, don't hit that part, don't hit that thing over there. And from this level, you got a good. It's not too difficult. You hit this webby black chitinous stuff, and it does indeed kind of flame up or melt. So this stuff is starting to kind of roll off of the scrubbers. And after a minute or so, a couple whooshes of flame in every, couple different directions, Cham says, I think this will actually work, at least in this level. And then it's time to climb down. So you start to climb down a level. Cham, do you want to climb down also, or do you want to stay up towards the top?
When the captain was talking to me about the possible entry point, and I'm looking at the map, I think I want to stay closer to it to make sure. Like, basically, my question is, if I go down, will my motion detector still catch that one point of entry we're worried about?
Which point of entry do you mean? Like the shaft, the crawl space that you just went down?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
you talking
basically.
about? Yeah. It has what's called long range. So
Okay.
with the walls and stuff, you don't get quite as much range. But that's yeah. You probably could detect anything. A deck below or a deck above, anything back to maybe like the cryo deck area. You probably should be able to pick up, or up towards Mother.
Sure.
Wilson on your motion tracker. Actually, it's a good time to go ahead and make a power roll for your motion tracker.
Woo, okay, let's do it. Rolling power. Whew. Good baby. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So if that's the case, I'll move down then to make sure I stay close to Davis.
Okay. And do you want to be on the same ladder or like a nearby ladder climbing down? Basically, do you want to be like above Davis on the same ladder, or do you want to be like at the same level but on a different ladder? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think close to Davis.
Okay. So you're on the same ladder but above. Is that okay? All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, Davis. So you get down to the next level. Same deal. Whoosh, whoosh. And you get, you start clearing out B level is what you're on now, B deck level. And then you start to spray down to where as I said earlier, the deeper you go, it's clear that this stuff is much thicker. And you can see with your light, it's shadowy, but you can see down below at like the C deck level, it's really thick. It's almost like another wall of this stuff built into the side of it. So it's going to take quite a few whooshes of this stuff to kind of clear that out. Davis, actually, I'm going to make a quick roll for no reason.
It's just fun to roll stuff, right?
Yeah, I just like it. Okay. Davis, I want you to make a range combat roll, and you're going to make it it's going to be, you're shooting down to C deck, which is the next zone. So that's called medium range. So you're -1 die because of the range. You're -1 die because of your spacesuit. It reduces your agility by 1. And you're we'll say -1 die because of the darkness, the dimness of that area down there. So you're 3 dice down. I'll assume since you're being careful, you can get 2 dice back. Because you're aiming. When you aim, you get 2 dice. So you're only down 1 die. For this, Cham can't really help you with what you're rolling here, so can't get anything from him. But we'll go back to what Miller said earlier. Miller, we'll say you pipe in at this moment something to help Davis aim, or be careful, or how does that come out? You're going to make that command roll we talked about earlier. You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah. Right. So I'm just going to be since it is Davis and we have a bit of a rapport, I'm going to kind of lean into that and just say, take a deep breath, focus. This is going to pay off for you if you keep a clear head.
Yeah. Davis is tempted to like mouth off, but we never saw what happened to her eyes, so she's just kind of like, all right, fine. You're muted, Jason.
Captain Miller, go ahead and make a command roll.
Okay.
Straight up. Nothing. You can push it if you want to. Or you can let it ride.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it ride.
Okay. So what were we at then? You're -1 die overall, Davis. So I want you to make a
Yes.
ranged combat roll at -1 die.
All right, so -1.
Wow, look
Hey.
at that. 3 big hits. You certainly don't have to, but just to make it clear, you can push that too because you didn't get a face hugger. But you don't have to,
No.
When you push, you gain a point of stress.
Mm.
And what you would do is you would roll all the dice that didn't come up a hit.
Okay.
Follow?
Oh yeah, I was confusing pushing with success. That's a different thing.
Yeah. But that's 3 hits, so that's certainly a big time success already.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay. So what happens is you spray this flame and part of the wall whips up, and unwinds itself. One of these horrible creatures that you saw before comes out of the wall. You've hit it directly though with this flame, and it squeals this loud, piercing squeal that echoes through this shaft. Cham, you see this in the light of the flame. You gain a point of stress. Davis, you've already seen it, so you don't gain stress there. You guys are in mortal danger of this horrible creature. You both have to make a panic check.
Okay, that's good.
You both just barely keep it together. It's when you get to 7 where you start to have things happen. So you both barely keep it together. We are going to take a break. When we return, we will decide your fate. Don't let me forget, Davis, Leandro, if you come back early or if you're curious, look at the range combat under
Stunts?
the rule summary that I gave you guys, alien rule summary. If you look under stunts, look under range combat, you've got 1 hit and then you've got 2 stunts you can do.
Ooh.
The common thing people do is you can use it just to do extra damage, but you can do lots of other stuff with your stunts on range combat. So check those out, because that's probably where we're going to jump in, is I'm going to ask you what you want to do with your 3 hits. Let's take till 9:40. My clock says 9:32, so we're about 8 minutes. I'll see you guys in a few. All right?
See you in a few.
All right, Leandro. What do you want to do with your 2 stunts?
Yeah, so just to clarify, I'm shooting from around near B deck-ish and the alien is at C deck.
That's right.
And the shaft is still going, right?
The bottom of the shaft, it ends right about where you hit it. That's the bottom.
Okay, cool. All right. So I think I'm going to inflict one more point of damage.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's just hedge my bets, and I think I'm gonna pin them down. And I think what that looks like is they're caught by fire. Is that possible? You can.
You can't
Okay.
you can't panic xenomorphs,
Hmm.
but you I was looking at myself. If you don't want to do the extra damage, the only other one it probably applies here would be knocking it down.
Yeah.
Which is useful. It'll have to use one of its actions to stand up before it comes running at you.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
Yeah, that was my other thing because I thought the shaft would go further, but I think just hitting it with fire and knocking it down would be good.
That sounds perfect. So this is sort of like your surprise attack. So before we even roll initiative, we'll go ahead and take care of your hit. So what you do is you take the base damage of the flamethrower, which I think is, if you look at your sheet, it should say under damage for the flamethrower, it says 2. And now you're adding 1 to that with your stunt. So that takes your base damage to 3. So you're doing 3 points of damage to it. And what it needs to do now is it rolls its armor to see if it can block any of that. I'm gonna go ahead and roll that in the open here. I set up a character sheet for a xenomorph, and I should be rolling. You also, it's clear to you that fire, it's susceptible to fire, so it doesn't have as much armor against fire. So let's see how we do. The xenomorph got 2 hits on it though, so it takes away 2 of those points of damage. So it does take 1 point though. So I'll mark that down. Then, if your note about your flamethrower where it says like fire intensity 9, what that means is now we roll to see if the xenomorph is on fire. So that's just the blast damage, and now we roll to see if it's on fire. So what it says fire intensity 9. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll 9 base dice. No stress, just 9 base dice.
Okay. 9. Submit. Okay.
And you got 2. Okay. So it's taking 2 from the it's on fire. It's taking 2 points of damage. It does get to roll its armor again though against that. So I'm gonna roll 4 base dice again and submit. I got nothing. So it is on fire. Next, at the beginning of the next round, I'm gonna have to you'll roll again to see if it takes more damage from the fire. So it's squealing, it's hissing. This thing is not happy. You just woke it up from a long sleep, and it's on fire. It's having a bad day. In addition, you guys remind me that when something's on fire, every round it intensifies. So you're going to roll with 10 dice next time.
Oh my god.
Okay. Now we go into the actual initiative order. So I've set up on the screen, there's the turn order, and it has the drone twice because it's fast. It gets to go twice. And then each of you 2 guys. And I'm going to assign everybody a card. Where is that? Deal cards to turn order items. Okay, so right now, the drone is going twice. It's going first. Davis and Cham, you have the option of exchanging the order of your turns if you want to. You don't have to.
I think we're pretty. What do you think? I think we're pretty close that it kind of.
Yeah, I think I would prefer Cham go first because he's blocking the way on the ladder.
Sure, that's true. That's a good point.
Okay, so I will go ahead and change these.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Let's do this!
Yeah.
Okay. It's the beginning of the round, so you do get to roll that fire intensity. So let's start with that. So roll 10 base dice for me.
Okay.
Burn. Ah.
2 more hits. I have to roll 4 base dice to block, see if its armor can absorb it. It doesn't. It takes 2 more damage.
Okay.
And next round, you're going to roll 11 dice.
Wow.
Okay. You do also notice. Well, never mind. We'll get to that later, probably. So now it's its turn. It was awoken from a nap, like I mentioned, so it automatically loses its first move. So its first move is just like shaking off the shock of what it just faced. And then its second move, it'll stand up with its fast action. And then xenomorphs can do what's called a sprint. They can move two areas in one move. It doesn't actually need to, because climbing a wall like this is nothing to a xenomorph. So it climbs from C deck up to B deck. I guess it does, though, because to get into short range, it goes from medium range to short range. And then using that sprint, it moves from short to engaged range right up into your face, Davis. So this thing's right up on you, but that's as far as you can go this time. We then go to Cham. So remember, you get either 2 fast actions or 1 fast and 1 slow.
Is there anything I can do to get between Davis and the alien to make sure Davis gets up first?
You could jump across to like a different ladder and get out of the way.
Or is it better if I just like run the hell up?
You could probably. You're not so far away. I suppose. Let me see. I mean, I can picture. You guys tell me if this seems unlikely, but I can picture you sort of like grabbing a rung and kind of like swinging and falling and trying to like kick it, if you want to do that, to kind of like come along, like Davis is on like one on the ladder and you're like coming like on the other side, coming down beside them and trying to like kick or hit this thing. If you want to do that, I think we would just call it a close combat attack.
Yeah, or a push?
Yeah, you could do a push.
Yeah, I could push it into the, but
You could push it out of engaged range into short range.
Yeah. That's what I want to do, to give Davis a chance to like run, basically.
Yeah, I like that. So a push is a close combat attack. You just need 1 success.
Okay, so combat. Okay, so roll combat. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and roll.
Yep.
1 success.
All right, that's all you needed. So you push it. You have, you're a big guy, and you come swinging down. And this thing's huge. It's 8 feet tall. It's probably 400, 500 pounds. But you got enough momentum swinging and motivation. You give it a good kick, and it kind of, you don't damage it, but it kind of leaps across to the other side of the shaft and swings around, with its teeth bared, and it's flaming, and you see that it's sizzling because like its blood is coming out from its cracked skin, but it like sizzles and burns it up almost immediately, the flames. This thing looks bad news. And then we go to Davis.
Ooh.
Sorry, does that cover both my actions? I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Got it.
In game terms, you moved 1, and then you pushed. Yeah.
Got it. Go on, Davis.
Yeah, I know Cham wants me to move, but I think I just see this thing and like I'm just.
Davis! I'm screaming at you. I'm screaming! Davis, get the fuck out of here! I already lost a friend. I'm screaming. You can do whatever you want, by the way. I'm just saying I'm screaming.
Yeah, no, I did the color, but like, I think I'm not listening. I think I'm aiming at the flamethrower and just gonna keep pouring it on. I know it's on fire already.
Okay.
But...
So firing the flamethrower is a slow action. With your fast action, you can save it in case you need to block or something. Mm-hmm. Although this is the end of the round, all your actions will recharge at the beginning of the next round. So there's really no reason to hold it for a block because it's not going to go.
Mm-hmm.
You can aim to give yourself 2 extra dice to hit, or you could move away after you fire if you want to.
I think I don't know if David's in the state to aim, so I think she'll fire and move away. Intensity will happen again after this round, right?
That's right.
All
Okay,
right.
so you're going to make a range combat roll. Let's see, it's at short range, which is 0. You're not aiming, so that's 0. Nobody's helping you. The weapon itself has a what do they call it? The bonus is 0. So I think it's a straight up range combat roll.
Is there a way I could help, or?
No, you used all your actions. There's really
That's right.
probably.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know how you could help him shoot a flamethrower, anyways.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Especially when you're yelling at them to
That's
not.
true.
to just
That's true.
go.
I'll help you run.
Get out of here! But if you are going to fire, do it better.
All right. So no modifiers.
Yep.
It's fine.
Okay. Wow, you're rolling hot.
Yeah.
So that's 3 hits. Same as before. You get one. The one roll. One success is a hit.
Get it back on its ass, please.
The other 2 are stunts.
Yeah, I think I'll do the same as I did, which is inflict 1 more point of damage and
Knock it
just
down.
knock it down.
Okay. Given the circumstances, let's do the damage first. So it's 2 base damage plus the extra 1, so it's 3 damage. I have to roll to block it with my armor. It blocks 1. It takes 2 damage. That is enough that this thing sizzles up. It lets out this primal scream, and it falls down to the bottom.
Yeah, I think I hear that, and David just lets out this hysterical, like very panic sort of ha ha. Yeah,
Quiet,
yeah, fuck
quiet,
off.
quiet, Davis. God, good job. Also, shut up, but good job. Okay. Like, come here. Like, I'm grabbing her and pulling her like over.
When it reaches the bottom, so it kind of like spins as it falls down to 10, 15 meters down to the bottom, and it hits the bottom, and at the bottom you can see now it's lit up by the flames of this thing. It's ice. There's a sheet of ice at the bottom. Cham, you know that these things accumulate a lot of water at the bottom, and that's frozen. And it hits the bottom and it just shatters. Just pieces of it fly around. A little bit of the acid, kind of eats away. I guess you guys haven't really experienced the acid yet, but you see this acid sort of eating away into the ice, into the kind of. It doesn't eat away into the black resiny stuff. It seems to be immune to it, but it doesn't go very far. Most of it burns up and oxidizes. If you didn't have your helmets on, it appeared to be a really nasty smell. But well done. You have killed an alien drone.
Oh my god. I'm like I'm reeling. Yeah, I'm gonna check on Davis. Yeah. I look at Davis like, how are you?
Sorry, I think Davis is like she's shaking with the adrenaline, but like her hold on the incinerator is like tight, and she says like, Cham, you're very lucky. You didn't get to see any of these fuckers take Rye. You're very, very lucky. Let's get the hell out of here.
Okay, but I mean, you were really brave, Davis, but just please, we have to be careful. We have to stay careful. I don't want what happened to Rye to happen to you.
And she'll just like kind of like terse sort of nod, kind of like gesture with the incinerator to get going.
And I'm going to communicate to the rest. We found something, one of those things here. Davis fucked it up, but it looks bad. It looks like there's something. There's a lot of them. It was sleeping. I don't know what's happening. I just wanted to report in. We're almost done here, I think, though. Let's
jump back to Miller. Miller, you hear this. You've left the science bay. Where would you move in next, or did you want to respond to them? I'll pull you back to your map. I guess you're already there though. B deck.
Are you both okay? What does it look like? Something that you can, I don't blame you if you want to get the hell out of there, but we need those scrubbers online if you can possibly make it happen.
Cham, you feel that it's pretty much done. One or two more blasts, and you should be okay. Hopefully, there's none of these no more of these things though.
Yeah. I do communicate that as much. I'm also going to, like, after I communicate that, I go over the plan with Davis. Like, if another thing fucking wakes up, just like 2 shots and rerun. Right? That's the plan.
Fine. Okay.
And in case something happens to me, I make you take the motion tracker. Just so I'm gonna give it to you. But yeah, I tell Miller we're practically done here. I'll let you know as soon as we're done.
Okay. All right, keep me posted.
And then Miller, before you were talking about heading towards the bridge. Do you do that, or do you want to look around somewhere else before that?
I'm gonna slip into Science Lab 2.
Okay. Science Lab 2 is a larger version of Science Lab 1. There's a lot of tables with beakers and microscopes and Bunsen burners, all that kind of good stuff. There are some like specimen tubes and stuff, but they're empty. There is a terminal here, but they just say stand by. They don't have any data sticks or anything. There doesn't seem to be anything you can do here.
All right. Is that where that compad is? Is that also a port, or
that right there?
No, that's a vent. I mean, to the 4.
To the 4. Oh, this right here?
Yeah.
That's a terminal. That's out actually in that hallway.
Okay, so there isn't a door leading out into that hallway.
No, you'd have to go back around past Med Lab out that door. This door right here.
Yeah. All right. I'm Wilson. Can I get a situation report from you?
Wilson, you're knee deep in wires trying to connect the. You were do I remember correctly? You were going to try to set up the black box.
That's right.
Okay.
So I think I'll just radio back and I say, I took a slight detour since it's going to take you guys a little while to try to get Mother up and going. I think once we get Mother up and going, we'll have a better idea of what happened here and what best we can do.
Okay. What's next, Miller? Where are you heading?
All right. Okay. I'm gonna kind of wrap everything up. Davis, Cham, get a heads up when you're done. We will all bridge. Wilson on the way.
You were breaking up a lot there, Richard, but you're telling them to make their way to the bridge. Everybody meet there.
I'm sorry.
Are you just going to kind of go
Wilson
up
on the way?
Okay.
Well, I'm presuming that they need a little time to get all work.
Say that again. You're roboting.
Okay. I said I'm presuming it's going to take them a little bit of time to wrap
Wilson,
up everything they're doing. Yeah,
Cham and Davis and Wilson, they're all kind of coincidentally, you're all kind of getting very close to finishing what you're doing. So if Miller, you head up towards the bridge, there's a good chance you'll all meet there at the same time.
Okay.
Is that the plan? Okay.
Yeah.
So you make your way. I'm going to presume you're going to go up this hallway. Do you see where I moved you? You're kind of going up by the air scrubber shaft. And we will say that Davis and Cham come crawling out just at that moment, join up with you. You guys continue. You're right.
Yeah.
So did you want you're going to go right to the bridge, and then they're going to come down and meet you. Okay. And then you're going to go up
Yeah.
this way,
Right.
and we will put you there for now up at the
Okay.
bridge. You move quietly. You don't hear anything. Nothing happens for you. Cham and Davis, same deal for you guys. Let me drag you back. You finish the job. There are no more creatures come out of the walls. You finish the jobs, clearing off the black resinous stuff off the mechanics, and you climb back up to the A deck and come out of the shaft, crawl up back out, head up the hallway or I guess you'd have to go down a deck. Do you want to go? The nearest way would be either to go down this stairwell right here, or you could do the same thing at the junction A1. You know that Wilson is up in the Mother up here, if you want to go that way.
Well, we don't know that he's up at Mother, right? Because
Did he mention that? Yeah,
Oh, you
I
radioed.
think
Oh,
he
yeah.
did say so.
He
Yeah.
said so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool.
So you tell me, do you want to go down the down the stairwell, down the junction A1, or go up and pass by where Wilson is? Then you can go in the junction there too.
Let's check up on where Wilson is.
Okay. So you guys come around the corner, and you see the same thing that Wilson did. You see this dead body on the ground with a bashed in back of the skull, a pool of frozen blood that it's lying in. It says Balaji on the back. It's got Weyland-Yutani and Cronus patches on its work suit. And you each take a point of stress seeing this dead body. And anything else there? I think that's it.
So if we had gone
forgot
to the stairwell, we wouldn't have gotten that point of stress.
No.
Oops.
Yeah. I was thinking it, but I didn't say it out loud. It's fine.
It probably won't be the last dead body you see.
Yeah, exactly. So getting
might as well get it out of the way.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Oh,
I just wanted to double check. So the head bashing in, does it look like it was done by a weapon or by a thing?
You can make a first aid roll to try to figure that out.
Okay.
You kind of kneel down and look at it, see if you can tell what did it.
Yeah, I don't have anything, but let's just do it anyway. Let's just check. It
would just be your wits then. Oh no, it's empathy, isn't it?
Yeah, which is actually not bad. But I'm stressed. One success, but one panic.
Okay.
How does this work again? Do I do the panic
just
first?
click the panic die. Yep.
Which
panic
makes
button.
Sense
yep.
In this situation. 7.
Okay. So you kneel down, but the stress is getting to you, and you. I think that's.
Tremble.
I think it's twitch. Let me.
Twitch.
Nervous twitch. Your stress level and the stress level of all friendly PCs in short range of you increase by 1. So Davis and Cham, you each gain a point of stress. You see him start to tremble as he kind of pokes at this dead body. You did get a success though. So you see that it's a really kind of a broad. It looks like a large blunt object smashed this guy's head in. You haven't seen the monsters use their telescoping mouth, so you can't compare it to that. But this looks like something kind of a bat or a big blunt thing. Kind of it's instead of one specific spot, it's sort of like a broad bash, that crushed in a large section of this guy's back of his skull. Whoever did it or whatever did it was very strong.
Yeah. I look at Davis, who I know my stress was leaking out towards, and I tell her, I'm not entirely sure, but I think we have to be careful. I don't know if it was one of those things that did this or if it was an employee. So let's just be careful.
God forbid we stop being careful.
Yeah, Cham's like a broken record at this point, but like he's freaking out.
Yeah.
Do you want to wait there for Wilson, or do you want to go down the junction, down the stairs, down to B level and to the bridge?
Yeah, I'll check on Wilson.
So you can't you're at the door that you can't access, you can't get in. As far as you know, Wilson's in there doing something with Mother, but you can't see. The doors are solid, so you can wait there, or you can check in on the radio, or you can go. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll radio Wilson and I'll say we're right outside. I'm gonna keep my voice low because I assume Wilson's busy, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
So about how close am I to being able to read through the black box?
Let's go ahead and make your roll. Let's figure that out. So I want you to make a. Let me find that. It's a Comtech roll.
Okay. Just straight?
Straight up. Wow. Okay, so you succeeded, plus you got 2 stunts if you want to look at that and see if there's anything you'd like to do with those. You've set up so that the black box can be accessed from the terminal, and it boots up through your terminal, and you see that it's clear to you that it has a whole bunch of entries that are just numbered entries, and they all say erased, 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 erased. 10, 15, 20 entries. But then the last one, number 26, we'll say, is a audio message that you can play back if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
You hear a man's voice, in a Nigerian accent, if that matters. And it says, "This is Adasi Bolaji, captain of the USC SS Cronus. I did as I was ordered, and I set down on the planetoid. They kept us in the dark, but the science team must have found the ruins they were looking for and brought something back with them. Somehow it infected them, and now they're all gone. Everyone else was already in cryosleep before I realized that somehow it had gotten aboard the Kronos. I'm convinced the company knew it was out there all along, and now they're protecting it. It almost got me. There's no way I'm going to let that thing reach Earth. I've shut down Mother, and I'm going to set the self-destruct manually. It's probably for the best that the crew is asleep and will never know what I had to do. If someone finds the black box, please contact my wife, Basira, on Taurin Prime. Tell her my final thoughts are of her and the children. Captain Balaji, signing off."
And I think we see Wilson here. Delete.
Lovely.
So as far as stunts, I see. I don't need to overcome the exact same challenge in the future.
No, probably not.
Could we say that that's if I power up Mother, that that could be done quickly?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's what I'll use the stunts for.
Okay. And then you power up Mother, I presume, right?
Yeah, and then I'm going to power up Mother, and once I won't be able to access her from anywhere else. So if I want to talk to Mother, I need to be here, right?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of things would I normally do with Mother once she's powered up?
You can kind of just freeform any questions you want to ask her, and she'll respond if she has information. Like in the movie, like Ripley and the Captain Dallas, like they just type in like, "What is blank? Why were we sent here?" Like things like that, like very straightforward kind of questions. So first of all, it boots up as I started to describe earlier. And once it boots up, you're given the, let me get to the right place. So yeah, when it boots up, it has sort of a menu screen, and it has a couple special items. It has a menu for Cronus mission objectives, and it has a menu for Captain Balaji's logs.
So I think Chronos mission objectives, I'm going to go into that.
Okay. So there's a list of short notes that are underneath in this menu. Classified reports of ruins on planetoid C17 in the Tanaka system. You know, that's sort of a out of the way frontier system somewhere in some horrible place, spot of, ass end of space. Prospector, name redacted, describes seeing carvings depicting creatures very similar to known appearance of xenomorph XX121. Corporate executive Clayton given overall command of exploration of the planetoid. Scientific exploratory vehicle USC SS Cronus, captained by Adasi Bolaji, ordered to land on planetoid, assist science team, and return any findings to the company. Science team led by Professor Daniel Cooper to explore ruins and initiate scientific study on science module attached to the Cronus. Maintain operational silence at all times. Circumvent ICC quarantines and return findings to the company. Beware interference by rival corporate entities. That finishes out the mission objectives. The other one, Captain Balaji's logs, was the other one.
So those names are the ones that were in the tubes back that we passed, right?
That's right.
Clayton and
Clayton, Cooper, yep.
And they were still alive.
Yep. Balaji's the dead guy outside.
Right, the captain. Okay, so I looked through his logs.
Okay. Day 14. Awakened by Ava after dropping from FTL. We have arrived in the Tanaka system. Day 16. Penetrated thick asteroid belt without incident and approaching planetoid C17. Day 17. Landed on planetoid. C17 is an airless rock. Science team deployed and reports having reached the ruins. Day 18. Science team returned. They seem to be in some distress, but Cooper and Clayton refused to tell me what happened. Day 19. Clayton reported that and then the screen goes blue, and then the computer, the mother reboots.
Is that common?
No, you've never seen that before.
Ooh.
Right in the middle of going through the captain's logs, it reboots, and then once it reboots after a minute or so, those two menu folders that you were looking at, they're gone.
Ooh. Okay.
And Mother says, on the screen it says, unrecognized company executive, and it lists your number. How may I be of assistance?
And I'm going to type in, why were you disabled?
Unknown.
Who disabled you?
Last logged user Captain Balaji. Balaji, initiated mainframe shutdown.
I'm going to say order, I think it was 996 initiated.
Sure. I think it's 966. Yep.
966. I'm going to say order 966 initiated. And repairs underway. Head towards, and I think we had a station we were going to try to dock back up with. Is that right?
Right. Anchor Point Station
Yeah.
or any Weyland-Yutani facility.
Yeah. And I'm going to say turn on distress beacon and head towards turn on distress beacon authorization, and I give my name and code number so it broadcasts
Mhm.
that to make sure that they know, that the company knows who's returning the ship. And then I'm going to tell Mother repairs are underway as soon as possible. Head towards Anchorhead Station.
Okay. The computer says unable to comply with initiation of distress beacon. Please please access terminal on bridge to identify reason or cause for inability to comply with order. And it says special order 966 recognize. Top priority return xenomorph samples to company. All other priorities secondary. Crew expendable.
I'm going to leave my name and code with Mother, so if I don't make it, at least the reward credits go back into my account somewhere. Yeah.
It says
And then I'll
law.
and then I'll exit.
Okay. So you walk out, and there's your buddy standing there, and you guys all make your way down to the bridge without
So
incident.
did
Go
I
ahead.
hear the action that went on with them? They reported back that they killed something. Would I have heard that within Mother? I assume I would have.
Yeah, I think Cham, after it happened, radioed in and kind of described, that they had met something and killed it. That I think Davis, what did you say? Davis wasted it or fucked it up, or I think something like that. Yeah.
So I think that Wilson steps out and kind of kind of looks at the two of them and says, good job. I can't believe, we saw what that thing did to Rye. The two of you are amazing. And I think he hands the pistol over and unslings that shotgun.
Okay. You're gonna give the pistol to Cham or
Yeah.
Okay.
Champ.
Okay. So let's go ahead and move that. Let's see. Let's get your character sheets.
Once again, I'm just taking the front just in case.
Okay. Wilson. Okay. So now everybody has a weapon. That's good news. And you guys have all made your way to the bridge. And like I said, coincidentally, you all arrive at the same moment. And you move into the bridge. Let me make sure I got you guys on the right map. The bridge is on B deck. It's up to the very front of the ship. Let me move your tokens up there. It has a standard door, so you just push a button and it'll open up. And let me get Wilson from up on A deck. Okay, so everybody's together. You move into the bridge. If you saw the movie Prometheus, this is the bridge of that ship. It's huge compared to what you're used to in the Montero. It's open, it's airy. The equipment is all super high tech. They have this massive, it's hollow display table in the middle. If you fire that up, it creates this 3D image of whatever it is you're exploring, and it shows, live movement of people and things throughout the image. There are different stations lining kind of the sides and of the walls, and up in the front is sort of a recessed area you kind of walk down into, and there's a huge command station. There's a spot where the captain can kind of stand up and kind of guide the ship while looking out these huge windows up in front, or can sit down. There's big shuttered windows in the front and side of the bridge that you can open. It's dark in here right now, and there are all the terminals, as I've said, with different terminals that you've seen, they all say standby. They're lit up and they all say standby. Wilson, at least hypothetically, you think that now that Mother's activated, you guys should have power. If you sit down at these terminals, you type in, activate, they should fire up.
Yeah. So I think on the way I tell them that the body that we saw up above was the ex-pilot. And I know what the system that they went to, and I tell them the system that was surrounded by an asteroid belt and where they were coming out must be where they sustained the damage. And that we have to get back home, and our best bet, I turned Mother on, but Mother wasn't operating at full capacity, and couldn't turn on the distress beacon that we need so that we can get back to Anchorhead Station. And I'm supposed to try, Mother said I could turn it on from here maybe, or see why I couldn't. So let's get to turning things on. Start with light support, and I'll go up to the command station.
Okay. Through the next few minutes, then, you guys, through going to different terminals, I'll just kind of like do the montage version of this. You kind of gather the information you need. Currently, the ship is on backup emergency battery power, and just with that sort of amount of power, you can see, as you've already know, that it's freezing cold. There's very little oxygen. The air scrubbers are off. The heat's off. The Mother needs rebooting. You've done that. Basic functions that you can do just with battery power is you can open and control the cryo tubes. But as you guys as you recognized, it would be very bad news to open up the cryo tubes in the condition that the ship is right now. You can open and close basic doors. You guys have figured that out. You can turn on the life support and the heating without Mother being on. So you can do that. Emergency lighting you've seen, and gravity. Now that Mother's on, as you go from terminal to terminal, you get full control of the ship. And it's first of all, the condition of the ship. The reactor is functioning. Now main power has been restored because of rise, actions. Power is available to every system, with the exception to propulsion. There appears to be some sort of damage to the conduits on the outside of the ship. The wiring between here and there is all messed up. Cham, you know that someone's going to have to go outside the ship and physically walk on the hull of the ship there's 4 main engines. They're going to have to go up to each engine and basically take some sort of tool and do a bypass to send it to secondary wiring or auxiliary power, something like that. Otherwise, the ship is going nowhere. It works, but it can't move anywhere.
Shit.
As you know, the reactor relay control room reports that there is a hull breach. You already know about that, and that it has been decompressed, and that the ship has shut down the reactor relay control room with blast doors. It also has automatically closed down the blast doors, shutting down the aft sections of C and D decks. You can go ahead and open those doors now, though. There doesn't appear to be any danger that those areas are going to decompress. The ship was just being extra careful. You should be able to access the aft section of the ship if you want to now without danger of getting blasted into space. All the escape pods on the ship are gone. They are logged as having been ejected about 5 years ago, right about the time that all of this, whatever happened. The part of why this answers the question of why Wilson wasn't able to send a message in the distress beacon. All communications are reported as being destroyed or not working at all. Somebody can spend some time looking at that to try to figure out why, but all communications, including the distress beacon, are inactive and don't respond to any commands. Let's see. In addition, the internal and external cameras are all not reported, or they're all not working either. Beyond that, you should be able to turn on just about anything you need. Lighting, you can turn on the heat now. You should be able to turn on the scrubbers and get some oxygen. You guys tell me what kind of commands you want to enter into the computer. Or if you have any questions about power and what's working and what's not, jump in.
So is it safe to like pop off the helmets?
If you turn on the power and you wait for 10 minutes or so, yes. If you turn on the heat and you turn on the scrubbers and you wait a turn or so for the air to circulate and for the heat to come up, yeah, you should be okay.
So I think we should turn on life support and the heat and the oxygen and all that. I think we should also see if we can't, we've seen these things bash through doors. Is there some way we could barricade the doors and the vents and all of that here at the bridge?
You look over, you check that out. Most areas of the ship don't have heavy blast doors. So there are only certain parts that you can kind of shut down with blast doors. Unfortunately, the bridge is not one of them. And the vents have emergency sort of, I'm not sure what you'd call them, but like in the Alien movie, they're the sort of like round things that kind of like, I think I read somewhere, somebody described them as like an iris of an eye that kind of it circles and closes off a vent. Those you can use. They're pretty sturdy. They're not super sturdy. They're about as sturdy as the doors that you saw smashed down and thrown, into the cryo bays. And in checking that, you do see there's one blinking light showing on C deck. Let me get you over there. On C deck, there's one vent, a vent that it vents out. It's an emergency vent for venting out toxic gases and stuff. It's right here on the port side. It would shoot out toxic gases out into space. It shows a decompression there, but the emergency vent did close deeper inside. It closed up. So it's reporting that there was a decompression event there, but that it's been contained.
And we still have to fix the coolant.
That's right.
Yeah. And so what would that require? Is that another spacewalk?
That's right. you guys would have to find some sort of you'd have to find some sort of like steel to carry out there and weld onto the hull, basically. And that leads to, there is a manifest showing equipment and stuff in storage if you want to check that out. Storage is on, I actually have you here on C deck. Up towards the front of the ship, there's a bunch of storage areas. I think there's another area. Hold on a second. Let me see. Yeah, on B deck, there's also some storage. Let me drag you there. Yep, there's a storage area there. There's also an armory. There's a section where there's some more EVA suits. There's actually several places on the ship where there's EVA suits. If you ever see on the map these little spacesuit looking emblems, that's a spacesuit. It's probably there. So, but it's showing that if you go to the storage areas on B and C deck, there is sort of scrap steel for just this purpose, emergency patches, so to speak. There also, it's listed on the manifest, there's heavy machinery tools, including a maintenance jack. Let me see if I've written that down. There is, in one of the storage bins, there's 2 bolt guns, a cutting torch, a maintenance jack. And like I said, there's also another bin that has pieces of steel, sort of spare parts that you might need for repairs. There also is another storage bin that has listed 7 barrels of what's it called? Quintricetylene, which is a sort of napalm-like material. Why they would have it on the ship, you don't know, but it's this highly flammable, explosive material. There's 7 barrels of that. And then there's also, what was the other thing? Oh, there's a lot of replacement scrubbers, but you don't need that anymore.
So I have a question. Can we look at the crew readout?
Sure. So originally there were 17 crew. Most are listed as missing, but the 5 that you, well, there's actually 6 listed still on the manifest. Balaji's one of them. It's listed as just active, I think it's probably would say. Then there is the 5 people you saw in the cryo base. So there's Clayton, who's listed as company executive. Wayland Utani, company executive. There is Johns, who's listed as first officer. There is Flynn, who's listed as medical doctor. There is Cooper, listed as head scientist. And there's Reed, listed as bodyguard for Agent Clayton. There also is one, well, at the very end of the list, it says Ava, ship synthetic. And it's listed as unknown for her. The other 10, 11 people are all listed as unknown, deceased, missing, some combination of that.
So we're kind of in some deep shit. And there's only 4 of us. If we get the other 5, we might be able to make it out here. That more than doubles our chances, right?
That is true. I'm more concerned about the propulsion systems.
I'd really like to get comms back on as soon as possible as well. Figure out what's going on there.
Someone want to make a ComTech check to see if they can figure out what the deal is with the communications? And you can have someone else assist if someone else is typing away
I'll
trying to help.
assist on that.
Okay. Who's best at Comtech?
I'm an exec. I've only got 4 total.
And I only have 2. I'm atrocious at this.
Oh, well, maybe
I
I'm
think-
the best.
Yeah, I got 3.
Uh-huh.
I think
so
our
you're gonna-
tech person is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
I think it
So
is
you're
Wilson.
gonna roll your dice, Wilson, and you're gonna add 1 die for Miller helping you.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. So you did panic. So go ahead and roll the panic die. You hold it together. You do succeed. You can see that all of the wiring, all of the circuits for the communication system, the cameras, the beacons, they've all been overloaded. That somehow a massive amount of power was sent through the wiring and just fried all of the circuits for those systems. It could be repaired. It would take several shifts. A shift is 5 to 10 hours, and it would take a lot of spare parts, a lot of spare wiring and electronics equipment that you're not sure if the ship has or not.
So I tell the rest of them exactly that. I say this is something that would take, 15 to 30 hours. It would take a lot of spare parts. I think that our priority should be, number 1, fixing the coolant leak so that we don't blow here and we still have power. And we should also get propulsion online, and we should make sure we're safe from those creatures. And we should make sure that the other 5 are safe from those creatures, and try and get home.
Well,
absolutely.
Wilson, seeing as you're about as useful as a third leg around here, why don't you go ahead and work on that? And Cham, I think you're in a position to get to work on the propulsion. And Davis, if you want to provide backup to whoever it'll work for, I'm going to go ahead. I think that the cryo, waking people up from the cryo, is a one person job. So I'll head up there and do that.
Okay. We do know that was attacked, that place. Like I describe a bit what we saw. I don't know why they wanted to attack them. So I
Miller,
think
do you have a weapon?
if you bring the motion detector.
Yes, I do.
What do you have?
I have the bolt gun.
Okay.
And I'm gonna load. There were. Oh, let me see the map. That was in the. There's an armory right there, right?
Yeah, right next to us.
Okay, so I'll check out the armory on my way. Does everyone else feel sufficiently strapped?
I could also try to look for another weapon, but I'm also thinking it would be a good chance for us to sort of like take 5 to 10 minutes to just like breathe for a moment before because who knows what's going to be out there. This may be our last chance to get some good rest.
Everybody want to take a breather?
Yeah, like Davis has taken out her pill bottle. She's just waiting for like the air to like be fine so she can finally take a dose. That's why she's been silent.
Let me ask each of you. Taking time is the first requirement to be able to rest. The second is you have to feel safe. Do you feel safe?
Well, as long as we're here and the doors are locked.
Yeah, just whatever your honest answer is good enough for me.
Yeah.
I have no interest in resting. I wanna get this dealt with.
Get her done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I if you need to rest, go ahead and rest. I'm heading to the cryo.
Okay. So we got Miller walking right out into the armory and then onto cryo. Miller, do you want to trigger cryo to start waking up the you can start the process from here if you want. It
No,
takes
I
it
don't.
takes 15 to 20 minutes to kind of bring people awake, or do you want to wait till you get there?
I'm gonna wait until I get there.
Okay. And
And on my way out, I'm gonna like is the what station is the cryo
what
coming
deck?
from? No, which bridge station is that data displaying?
It'd probably be on life support.
Okay, and pretty much everybody's kind of done with the life support.
Yeah, it's all on. It seems to be running well.
I'm just kind of on the sly going to like shut down the readouts for the cryo units.
Okay, make a Comtech roll to see if you can do that.
Okay, all right. Ugh. Ah!
Okay, so you panic. Roll the panic die. Oh, all right. So you rolled a 6 and you added your 2, so you got 8. You start to tremble. You start to tremble uncontrollably. All skill rolls using agility suffer -2 modification until your panic stops. Okay.
Okay.
So just make a note of that in your character sheet somewhere. And the computer, you're not familiar with these controls.
So I'm not able to.
You're not able to do it. Nope.
As soon as I can tell I can't, I'm just gonna head out.
Okay. All right. So hasn't started cryo. I'm just kind of establishing what everybody is doing and kind of leading into next session because we're just about done for tonight.
Yeah, I kind of have a cliffhanger moment that would be good to end on if we want to.
Okay. Let me cycle through everybody else and then we'll come back to that. How's that sound?
All right.
All right. So we got Miller is going to head to the armory, then on to cryo, but has not started the cryo deck sequence yet. And let's go over to Wilson. Are you going to rest, or did you intend to do something else here in the immediate future?
So I'm going to rest, and I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to fiddle with my key card.
Okay.
And in order to reduce my stress level, and I'm going to take a pad and start recording my log. So number one, is the executive here going to outrank me?
No. Well, actually, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say, to kind of go back, when it says, company executive, it has a little like rank 0, 0, 1. It's usually 0, 1 to like 6.
Uh-huh.
And 0, 1 is like CEO level. And you're like a 0, 5. This person's a 0, 3. So they're they're like a regional bigwig. So they're significantly more powerful in the company than you are. Yes.
So I'm going to start recording my log, and I'm going to report the heroics of Cham and Davis, and that Miller was insubordinate, and that the previous captain of the Cronus may have been an enemy, like a traitor.
Okay.
And encrypt all of this and lock it down. And I think that's it.
Okay. And back to my question, do you feel safe here? Does Wilson feel safe?
So I think I'm too stupid not to feel safe here. I think that the Cham and Davis can fight off any of the creatures that come in. They've proven themselves, so I think I'm fine.
Okay. So you lose 2 stress total then, because you rest for a turn and then you use your signature item. Mm-hmm. All right. And you're just kicking back, typing away.
Doing paperwork, which is my job.
There actually is sort of like a little coffee maker off to the side here. Do you want a cup of coffee?
I'll kick it on, but I'm not going to take the first cup. Yeah.
And let's go to Cham. Cham, you wanted to rest for a turn.
Yeah, I'm actually, when I notice Wilson's looking at the coffee machine, I'll set up coffee for everybody. And is this is cinematic play, right? I'm just double checking, or is this okay? Um, yeah, so I'm going to also take the chance to rest. Like for me, Cham feels okay when he can see Wilson and Davis are in the same room. Letting He'll let Captain be Captain. That's fine. And I'm also going to use my signature item. I'm going to take a moment, like while waiting for the coffee, to just stare at the rosary for a bit. Try to not think about the alien. That's what I'm really doing. I'm trying to not think about what it was like out there.
Okay. And so you lose 2 stress also. And Davis.
Yeah, I think Davis is just kind of like, as soon as the captain said, she's kind of like slumped at one of the pilot stations. I think probably the pilot station 1. And as soon as like life support's like turned on, she's taken off the helmet and she's went for the pill bottle because she's about close to crashing, for sure. And she just like empties the thing,
Mm-hmm.
her mouth. So it's empty now. But like there's a moment where like she just like gulps that in and just like sits back a bit and looks at there's a viewport in this
Yeah,
bridge.
did you
So like
guys
you
want to
can
raise
see
the
like
shutters to be able to look out into space? No, Champ saying no.
Davis kind of
Davis, did you
wants
want to
to,
raise
but
some
like
shutters so you can look outside?
I feel she's gonna do that.
Might make you not feel safe.
It'll make Davis feel safe. I mean, she already feels safe, but she does. I can't imagine she does like looking at the stars a bit.
You go with your feeling. Do you want to open a shutter? You can open one, maybe Cham's on the other side of the room and you sneak one.
Yeah. While I'm rolling my eyes, it's like, oh come on, it's just looking out into space. Nothing bad's gonna happen.
You told Cham that he was lucky he didn't see what happened to Rise. So, you know,
Yes, but
Cham
this is
doesn't
looking
like.
out into space. This is
Yeah,
different
and
from
you.
looking. Yeah, I'm going for
So
the small.
Davis, you feel the rush of the stimulant entering your system. Your shakes go away. I think, yeah, your shakes go away, and you feel a little bit at peace. You relax. And same question to you: do you feel safe in this place? In the
Yeah,
bridge?
yeah.
Okay,
I
so you
feel
lose 2 stress
yeah.
also. And who's taking off their spacesuit? Who's leaving it on?
I'm gonna leave mine on just
Dave.
in case. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, like Dave at least took off
You're gonna
the helmet, but she's keeping it on.
Okay. So just to make it clear, so you're going to continue to have the -1 to your agility then while you have it off, but you're not going to have to make any air supply rolls since the air here is, viable. Is anyone taking off their suit completely, or is everyone kind of the same boat, keeping it on, just taking their helmet off? Or
Okay, wait. I'm gonna double check the map. How about you, Wilson?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take my suit off completely.
okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to just take off the helmet as well, but I'm gonna think about heading out to where the other suits are in a bit, just to make sure that the air supply in this one is. Yeah, I'm probably gonna put the suit there later.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then we'll swing. Is anybody? We're going to swing back to Miller, but do Wilson, Davis, Cham have anything else they want to add that will set us up for next session? Okay, so Miller, you got the final word.
All right, so this is going to be kind of a cinematic series of scenes. So this is heads up. This is all without character knowledge, right? So just making sure that's all clear. So as soon as the door closes, and Miller seems deeply shaken by whatever happened, walks out the door. As soon as she turns the corner, and actually goes to climb up the ladder, you kind of see just Miller's hands on the ladder going up to the, or it's up to the cryo deck.
Mm-hmm.
And as the hands go up the ladder, the kind of shakiness disappears, and you see Miller kind of coming up the stairs, walking down the hallway. She goes into the, walks down the hallway into the cryo area. Seems, profoundly calm. Sets up, goes to the cryo controls and sets them to wake up Clayton. And while Clayton's going through the process, Miller strips off her EV suit and just kind of sits patiently, is holding the kind of looks at the Weyland-Yutani patch and kind of like pulls it off of her sleeve and just kind of seems to be meditating on it for a minute. And then as the cryo chamber starts to hiss open, she reaches over and activates the other ones to wake up. So you said that's about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I walk over and stand over Clayton, and as soon as Clayton starts to stir, Miller reaches down and kind of grabs Clayton around the neck and lifts him up out of the cryo chamber with one hand.
It's a her, but yeah.
Or her. And as soon as she seems to register my presence, I say, you and I need to have a talk.
Okay, that's
and
great.
Then go to black.
Let me think briefly. There might be some edits I have to throw into that.
Yeah.
Let me first. Did you stop at the armory or did you skip that?
I skipped it.
Okay. Let me make a note of that.
That was just to justify taking
more time. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll stick with that, and we will pick up there. There may be some things that happen outside your awareness that will impact on that, but I like that, and I think that'll be a good place to pick up. So to make sure I got it clear, and I'll script it down. So Clayton is awake, being grabbed by Miller. And you did start to wake up the others?
Yeah, as soon as it seemed like Clayton was stirring. So I just want a few minutes to
right
deal with Clayton.
Okay. Yep, I got it. All right. I think that is a wonderful place to stop. Any questions or comments? Actually, let me end the broadcast. Or anything you want to keep on the broadcast? All right. We'll see all of our fans for session 4 next week. And I'm going to end the broadcast.